Awesome. All right. It is 6:01 p.m. on Monday, April 8th. I call to order the Board of Health meeting. All members and department members are present. First item on the agenda is a betterment for 501 Washington Street.
Yes, so 501 Washington Street's a multi-family home, 8 bedrooms. They're looking for an $85,000 loan to repair their failing septic system. So it involves multiple tanks, pump system due to the high groundwater, but they're in good standing with their town and their bills.
No
Motion
issues.
to approve the betterment for 501 Washington Street.
Second.
All those in favor? Size yes.
Mills, yes.
Me and yes.
Excellent. Motion carries. Next on the agenda, acceptance of minutes from March 11th, 2024.
Motion to accept the minutes.
Second.
All those in favor? Size yes.
Someone asked a question. I mean,
Count on you, Thomas.
All right, staff notes?
You have seen the most recent updates about Simpson Springs.
Yes.
So they are currently no longer producing water. We have not heard anything from them as to the installation or up and running of the filtration system that they had purchased. So I think they're still just kind of probably reeling and trying to figure out what their next move is going to be. Last I spoke with them, they were bringing in bottled water from another location out in Western Mass.
Berkshire,
Yeah.
we get it at work.
Yep, to sell. One of those situations where the state gave us no advance, well, I mean, we've been talking about that they may do it, but they did all their press releases without letting us know.
Really?
Yeah,
That's unfortunate. That's a
That's-
very good, long-established family business in town.
Yep,
That's a shame.
yeah. So we had been talking to them in the weeks leading up to it, and they said it was likely coming, but the day that it hit the press, we had no advance notice to go down and talk to them or do anything.
That's really too bad
It really
on the
was.
state, because you guys are a nice group, and you
Yeah, we had gone.
deliver bad news well. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep,
it just doesn't seem like that's uncalled for.
yep.
At least not communicate and say, hey,
We're
we're doing this today if you want to go down. Yeah.
Yeah, this is going to hit the news.
Did they know beforehand?
I don't think that it's similar to us. I think there have been talks with one individual at the state that were, we might have to move forward with this action. We want to make sure that the public knows not to drink this water, blah, blah, blah. But I don't.
I didn't think it was 6 o'clock news for it. It's just a slow day.
Fox 25.
Yeah, I was like,
Well,
I mean,
the first time that I spoke to the state on the phone, they said to me, "Did we catch you off guard? Are you surprised?" And I said, "No, the town well that is
right.
2 miles away as the crow flies in the same aquifer tested positive 4 years ago. This shouldn't be a surprise to anybody." But we'll continue to support them and offer any technical assistance that we can. They do have a filtration system that they were interested in getting online, but they, I believe, purchased it in Europe, so they were waiting on some paperwork and some support services to come through that way.
Well, is there anything else that the town or the Board of Health can do for them? I mean, as I said, that spring, that operating spring, and I don't even know the history, but from what I understand, it's certainly one of the oldest operating ones in the country. Certainly in New England. And they've done very well in this town, and they've served this town well. So what, if anything,
We'll just
can
continue
we
to
do as a
support
board
them.
or as a town?
The water system is the water system. The supply it's coming out of is the same as the town well. There's no way that there's no magic wand to remove the PFAS. We have offered to look at the specs on the equipment that they've gotten. We'll continue to support them moving forward with anything that they need to do to get that equipment online and tested. We're checking in. We can check in with them regularly. And we're supporting their other operations, being available when they called and said, "Can we bring in this water?" That was a phone call between him and I on a Friday afternoon. We pick up the phone. And they're continuing to operate, their retail sales and their other pieces of their business.
Has there been any communication in terms of are there any grants available that we are aware of?
I'm
that we
not,
could assist them with?
I'm not aware of any. We could ask Tracy Levine, our Deputy Director of Financial and Veteran Services. One of the areas that she is responsible for is looking for grants. Usually it's more so for residents, but I can task her with seeing if there's anything that she can find out. Maybe she can reach out to the water department too to find out if they know of any small generator
Yeah,
grants.
I think we need to pull out any stops, and there may not be any available, but I don't know, does that require a motion, or is that just something that we can move forward on?
No.
Make it
No,
a follow-up?
we can just take direction.
I mean, I for one would love to see something. We gotta do something, and like I said, the answer may be nothing,
Mm-hmm.
but I hate a year from now that we find out we did nothing and there was something available.
Absolutely.
Good point.
We can do that.
Thank you.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else.
Although if we help them get grants, would that show preferential treatment for a specific business in town?
They're the only ones in the town doing that type of business.
Okay.
And just like
Well, you can't
Tracy was
force
first,
them to take it. You could just
Right.
say, this is a,
Yeah.
This is
it's like
something
a better,
that-
we're not
It's like
right.
a-
Yeah.
when Tracy first came on board, as we were wrapping up COVID, there were a couple of small business grants that she did identify and get through to the Economic Development Council for dissemination.
Okay.
It's just, having her finger on the pulse and being able to know where to look for things. But again, you lead a horse to water. We can give you an application. It's up to them to complete the whole process.
I think anything we can do would be beneficial for the town as well.
Absolutely.
I think as soon as it warms up, it could be mosquito central here.
We were just talking about that.
This whole town's a swamp right now. It's gonna be bad this year.
Yep.
I would-
So
This is gonna be one of those years where things start getting shut down in August.
unfortunately, I wasn't able to be on the state call. I had a conflict, so I asked. You ended up.
I
you
listened
both
to
were
it.
on.
Yeah.
I asked these guys to jump on the state once a month call that we have because one of the topics was the impending arbovirus season that's coming up. Back in November, Katie Brown, who actually had come to Easton when we put that regulation in place and actually spoke about Tripoli and everything else, in November was predicting that it was going to be a bad year. And that was when only, I think, 2 of the boxes had been checked. The third box now that's been checked is the wet spring.
Yeah,
So-
the wet fall, mild winter,
In a wet spring.
wet spring.
There were ticks all winter long.
All winter.
All winter long.
All winter,
Ticks
yep.
this year.
They never went away.
Well, that's why we're here.
Yep, so we will, obviously they'll start testing as soon as they're able. We'll start getting the results. Did they give a date as to when they would start the testing rounds?
They didn't mention that. They didn't mention a testing date.
It's usually towards the end of June, isn't it?
Yeah.
That
Oh, that they start doing.
they
festival. Yeah.
start emptying the traps and start testing.
Huh.
Because I think the earliest,
Wait, because we still have frost at night.
Correct.
Still, so it's.
I think that summer,
July 11th.
I was going to say, it was the week after July 4th. So the earliest in recent memory that we have had a Tripoli positive
Yeah.
was July. I would prefer not to repeat that, but I think we have to be ready for it. We, through our Bristol Norfolk Public Health Partners Shared Services Grant, one of the things that we're purchasing as a group are tick signs to be able to, we'll ask the Conservation Commission if we can post them at the trailheads, warning people to check for ticks, and because we have seen an incredible increase in the number of tick-borne illnesses that we have. And additionally, we'll get out there with probably at the children's races if it's that bad, and all the other places that we've been historically, and just promoting the fact to protect yourself.
Let me ask, what specifically does the town do, or we just leave this to county management and state management? In the old days, we used to spray.
So we do ground spraying
We do.
through, we as the town are part of the Bristol County Mosquito Control Project. So it's a cherry sheet type of thing where we're a part of that.
Okay. But
So-
that's still through Bristol County, that's through the county, where
Right.
the truck, he's going up and down the streets, that sort of thing, correct?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's the
At
truck
like
that
4 in
goes
the
up and
morning.
down
Does
the
the
streets.
town have anything in place
So,
that we
uh,
specifically go out, the DPW and sprays, or does any
Not
sort of
spray.
pest control?
I think they do some catch basin treatments, don't they?
Yes, they do, and I've seen it on the GPS. They go around and do catch basin treatments, and then because they would label all the catch basins for West Nile,
Mm-hmm.
so it's like a thing you can just drop in there and it like pucks.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's actually important though.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it gets the lottery, right,
And they
before
have the burn
they have a
bans,
chance
too.
to hatch,
Yeah,
right?
and then we focus our efforts on education, removing standing water on your own property,
Right.
keeping your body covered, repairing rips and screens.
Are we aware of any other towns in the Commonwealth that are doing their own pest management? Like we used to?
I think they leave it to counties now. 'cause
I think
it's good.
we've been with the county for so long. The startup for us to be able to do it ourselves, and I'm
Well,
not
I'm
sure
thinking
what.
in conjunction, I'm thinking the two together.
Like
Right.
an MOU between a couple of towns. Is that what you're saying, or a town?
Well,
with-
just the town go, are we aware of any other towns that have their own spray program, that they're up doing things? Certainly there's enough private businesses there. I don't understand why, and there's some very benign mosquito repellents and deterrents, the oils and that sort of thing. I don't know, I just wonder, has the town explored that? When we think of our athletic fields, when we think of the concerts at
It-
night and stuff like
So the
that,
athletic fields at the schools can't be treated.
with anything, even a benign
Nothing.
oil.
You should see what happens when they have a hornet's nest. Remember the one at the high school? Like, it was
Yeah, there's a whole
like
set
an
of
act
laws
God to get rid of the hornet's nest.
that deal with
That was the
applying any type of pesticide on the school grounds. The one year that we had it really bad, Tripoli, and we went for a waiver.
a waiver, and we knew that the fields wouldn't be used for 2 weeks post spraying.
That we did do a perimeter. We worked with Bristol.
Yeah, even like I remember they were treating the weeds.
If they used to do soccer, their fields are private, and,
So they can do something. And maybe common sense prevails there. That's where I just kind of struggle with that.
The problem is you got a lot of people in town that
don't want to be sprayed.
don't want to be sprayed, don't want the treatment, so it's like,
Okay, no, I'm just curious. I mean,
and we can make people well aware that they can just go online or call Bristol County if they want to be sprayed.
Yes, the trucks are here in town multiple days
yeah.
every
But
week.
they don't get into someone's backyard. They just
No,
drive
they-
by.
they
They're
cannot.
just doing a drive-by.
Yeah.
Right? Let's not kid each other. They're doing a drive-by.
Right.
No.
And there's a lot of properties that are wet in town, and they have large backyards.
Yeah.
Certainly not the new neighborhoods, but the older ones do.
But
And
Bristol
I can't
County
imagine that
will
that's an
go.
effective treatment.
But Bristol County will go on private property if they're asked to help free up streams that are becoming wetlands, things like that. They'll do ditch cleaning. They'll do in the annual town report. I want to say it's thousands of feet of ditch clearing that they do to try to keep water from flowing. It's standing water is the
Right.
issue.
That's the danger.
Yeah.
right?
It's getting people to take advantage of those services. It's getting people to take responsibility to do it on their own property. I'm not aware, even when I worked in Westboro, which was eons ago, they did do their own spraying. The director of public health had a pesticide applicator's license, and he got in the truck himself and went. And you stayed on the streets. They didn't go into people's
I remember
yards.
when they did it, the DPW, they annihilated the place. They had a, do you remember that as a kid?
Oh yeah, just used to back down my mother's dead end, and
yeah.
we would get on our bikes and chase the truck with the
You wouldn't
fan.
see birds for 2
Joe
weeks.
Cardozo was up there with a 3M thing, and trees were bending over with the amount of spray he was
Yeah.
hitting with the place. But you didn't have West Nile, you didn't have Tripoli, you didn't have anything. So, okay, well, thank you for that. But when we talk about educating people, now that's the first I heard that if they call Bristol County, that they'll actually come onto your property and help you clear standing water. Can we do something along those lines to educate people?
They do. Mark, I don't know if you do it too. They go to the schools too.
Yeah.
With the kids, like with the tick card. You used to do the tick cards. Stuff
The
like
tick
that.
cards, and that's a good reminder. I got to order another batch.
Big-
Tick cards, and it's
I know
called
it's
the
not
bike
the education you're
lab.
thinking of.
Right.
I go to the 4th grade class, and I talked to. They pretty much break it up into 4 groups, into large groups in the cafeteria. I get on stage, I show them videos, explain what to do, and educate the kids so they can go home and educate the parents. And we give them a tick guard that identifies a dog tick as opposed to a deer tick, and and so that's one of the educational things we do. I've been doing that. Oh, let's put it this way: I was only in a large shirt then when I started doing it.
So when
Yeah.
the state first developed this curriculum that Mark now presents at the schools, each district, each county was given one setup. We were the only ones, or the ones predominantly using it, that the state gave us our own. We have our own,
The bite lab. It's cool.
Our bite lab.
There's a box with most species of mosquitoes in Massachusetts on pins, so kids can look at that. There's a big tri-fold-out board that shows pictures of like the bite from a tick that gives you Lyme disease with the ring, the bullseye, different things, and then it gives you a little thumb drive that shows you videos of like a tick actually biting into a pig's ear carcass, and it's under a microscope, so you can see how it goes like this, and then goes in, kind of like the breaststroke. And so they see that video. They see the video of like mosquitoes, how they go through the whole life cycle and everything. And it takes about an hour to do one session, and I do probably 4 or 5 sessions in the day, and the kids seem to like it. And usually, I only had one bad group in all the years that just would not pay attention, and the league's like, please come back next year. I'm like, they're kids, it's okay, you know what I mean? But they enjoy it, so.
but we can add to because we do have like canned that I give to our outreach people, the community engagement piece that's over at Frothingham, that is one canned kind of infographic for each week, dealing with dump the water, repair your screens, wear pest, up. We can try to incorporate something into that is reach out to Bristol County for advice if you are concerned.
Yeah, advice and guidance, that they might
Yep.
actually come here and take a look and give you better advice or guidance on what to do.
Yep.
Certainly I didn't know that was available. I knew Bristol County drove up and down the streets in the middle of the night, but that was about it. So yeah, if we could get that out to people, I think that would help, especially anticipating it's going to be a very serious mosquito year. So
I was thinking pools too. I think in light of economy and electricity going up, I bet you'll see. I remember last year we had a couple pools that were not opened.
yours wasn't.
Yeah, that's because it's
Sore subject.
that's a report. Yeah. But that's something to look out for too.
Yep, so routinely, if people have concerns about their neighbors' pools not being opened, or homes that might be under foreclosure or abandoned, that have turned green, that are just looking like they're breeding grounds, they can call and complain.
Right.
We will most likely ask the complainant to actually help us, show us access so that we can see what they're seeing. But under the housing code, we can write an order and have that homeowner or that foreclosure bank. I mean, it's not a quick solution,
No, but a few times.
but we have been able to effectively either get the pool drained or something to mitigate the fact that it's a giant breeding ground.
Yeah. Perfect. Throw a couple mosquito pucks in it until they can get it drained anyways, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I've called Bristol County Mosquito Control, and they're like, they can go on the property, we'll get it drained, but it's gonna take a week to get there or something, so you have some pucks put in there. They do, I think, I don't forget the amount of gallon each little organic puck does, but pretty much creates a seal over the top so the mosquitoes can't get up through and breathe. So they suffocate and die before they come through the water surface and molt, pretty much. I know way too much about mosquitoes.
As you should.
Right.
The town's relying on you.
All right, does anyone have anything else for this evening?
Other than thank
We
you
have-
very
you
much
said
for
this is
your
your last meeting,
service.
right?
This is
Thank
my
you.
last meeting. Thank you all for having me for the past 6 years. I've learned
6 years of service.
6 years. I've learned a lot, and I appreciate the opportunity.
We
So
appreciate
thank
you
all.
being here.
6 years, triple E, autovirus, septics, and 1 pandemic.
And one pandemic in the middle there. Yep.
A little bump.
Excellent. Well, I make a motion to adjourn the Board of Health meeting for Monday, April 8th at 6:20 p.m.
Second.
Those in favor? Say yes.
Mills, yes.
Me and yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, thank you all.
Thank you.